Hey everyone, today I am super excited to give you your first look at the new DJI Osmo Nano, in some ways the true successor to the much loved Action 2. And we will be looking at all the features of this tiny new camera, including the multifunctional vision dock, image quality, special modes, battery life, and more. Now, if at any time you want to find out more about the new Osmo Nano or pick it up, I put links in the description down below where you can do just that. Alright, let's jump right in. And let's start by taking a look at the design. Now, this camera is incredibly small. It's basically the size of a thumb. And the benefits of a camera this size means you can mount it pretty much anywhere you can think of. And because it's so light, weighing only 52 grams, which for a comparison, the Action 5 Pro weighs a much heavier 146 grams, if you attach it to something like a helmet or a cap, it won't weigh it down like those traditional action cameras. It's also magnetic on two sides, so you can stick it to metal surfaces on the back or on the side. And I really like that it has flat sides so that you can set it down on a table, for example, without it falling over. This is super handy for vlogging without an additional accessory. Now, it also has a removable lens, so should you damage it, this can be easily replaced. And then on the top, you will see a record button. Now, when you press this, the camera will automatically turn on and start recording. And you will know this has happened because you will hear a beep and see a small red indicator light on the front. Now, those videos are stored to internal storage on the camera itself, with the Osmo Nano being available in 64 or 128 gigabytes. So if you pick up this 64 gigabyte model, you will be able to store around 85 minutes of 4K video, and the 128 gigabyte version around 2 hours and 50 minutes. However, this can be expanded, and I will show you how shortly. Now, on the bottom of the Nano, there's also a quick release plate. However, oddly, the standard combo doesn't come with the quick release mount. Now, the Osmo Nano is compatible with the Action 5 Pro quick release mounts, so if you have any of them laying around, you can use those. Or if you don't, I highly recommend picking up this additional accessory, the dual direction quick release mount, as this not only has the mounting fingers, but also a quarter 20 that will allow you to attach accessories such as a selfie stick. This is basically essential in my opinion. Now, in terms of the other accessories that come in the box, there's this magnetic lanyard pendant which you can put around your neck and hide under your t-shirt, and this allows you to discreetly attach the camera, perfect for getting these POV style shots. There's also a magnetic hat clip should you want to attach the camera to something like a cap. There's also this suction cup stand. Now, you can place this down on a table if you're looking a quick vlogging setup, but there is a suction cup should you want to stick it to something like a windscreen, and then on the other end there is a ball head allowing you to adjust the angle. And lastly, there is this protective case which can fit over the top of the Osmo Nano. The main accessory, however, and the one that makes this camera so versatile, is the multifunctional vision dock. Now, this can be magnetically attached to the bottom of the camera in either direction, and it's very secure once attached because of these two clamps. Now, this has an OLED HD touchscreen, and not only does this give you a live preview of what the camera is capturing so you can frame your shots, but the nice thing is, because you can attach it in either direction, you can have it facing yourself for when vlogging, but unlike other cameras with flip-up screens, this doesn't add any additional size. Now, on the screen, you can also change things like the recording mode, video settings such as resolution and FPS, and then once you detach the vision dock, these settings are remembered on the camera for the next time you hit record. You can also play back media you have captured to check what you have recorded, although I have noticed you can't play back slow motion footage on the device itself. Although DJI have told me this is something they are planning to add with a future firmware update. Now, the multifunctional vision dock weighs 72 grams, so when you put this together with the camera, it totals at 124 grams, so still lighter than a traditional action camera. There's a button on the side of the dock that allows you to start recording, but this can be customized to do different things within the settings menu. The main benefit of this vision dock, though, is that you can actually detach it by pressing the two tabs together and use it as a remote. So if you have the camera in an awkward place, you can still use the screen to check the framing and monitor what you are capturing. Super handy. The only drawback I have found is that you can't play back what you have captured until you reattach the dock to the camera. Although again, DJI have told me this is a capability we should see added at a later stage with a firmware update to the Osmo Nano. Now, the Vision dock does have a micro SD card slot, and this can be used to expand the memory of the camera. Footage from the camera can be directly exported to the SD card in the Vision dock, freeing up space on that internal storage on the camera. Now, looking at the camera, and the Osmo Nano has a 1/1.3 inch sensor with an impressive 13.5 stops of dynamic range. So this will make this camera great for sunrise or sunset shots, or for bright days where there is a big difference between the dark and bright areas of your image. And this is actually the same sensor size as the much larger and heavier Action 5 Pro. And in my side-by-side tests, I find you can get the same quality video. So you get footage that looks comparable from a camera half the size. Now, this camera is capable of recording at up to 4K 60 FPS, and just like with other DJI cameras, you can adjust the field of view from standard D-Warp, which has the least distortion, all the way up to ultra-wide, which has a 143-degree field of view, perfect for those action shots, although this will introduce more distortion at the edges. You can also record in 9:16 vertical or 16:9 horizontal aspect ratios, but the nice thing is you don't need to attach the dock or go into any settings to change this. You simply rotate the camera's orientation. Now, if you want to slow things down, there is also a slow motion mode allowing up to 4K 120 FPS. And in terms of color modes, alongside the standard 10-bit normal mode, which produces beautiful looking footage you can use straight from the camera, there's also 10-bit D-Log M. Now, this is a flatter color profile that better preserves the highlights and shadows of your image so that you can get a final video with a higher dynamic range. But because this footage looks flat straight from the camera, it does require color grading to get those benefits. And within the settings menu, you can also adjust things like the sharpness and noise reduction to get an image that is suited to you. Although it is worth noting, there is no ability to zoom the footage in on the camera itself. Now, in terms of photos, the Osmo Nano is capable of capturing beautiful JPEG or RAW 35 megapixel images. Now, what about low light and nighttime footage? Well, the camera has an aperture of f2.8, and there's a specific night mode called Super Night, which uses AI noise reduction algorithms. With that being said, in my testing, I find the low light footage to be okay at best. It's definitely usable, but in really dark environments with little ambient light, you can still see quite a bit of noise in the footage and it can look quite soft. Whereas when you do have better lighting, such as street lighting, the image does become a good bit better, but in general, don't expect super high quality nighttime footage from this little camera. It really thrives on situations where you have good lighting. Now, if you plan to use this camera to capture action, stabilization is very important. And on the Osmo Nano, this is handled using Rocksteady 3.0. And this has specific modes for walking and vlogging or more sport-based activities such as cycling. And you can see it does a fantastic job of smoothing out camera shakes or bumps, but still keeping that action feel in your footage. There's also a horizon balancing mode that can keep the horizon level up to 30 degrees off roll. Now, speaking of modes, we have a few others within this camera. There's a pre-record mode, which is where the camera can continually record up to 5 minutes of footage in advance, so that when you hit record, you also capture the previous 5 minutes. Perfect for spontaneous moments that you don't want to miss. And there's also loop recording, where you can record for a predefined length of time, after which the video will start to overwrite itself. With the Osmo Nano, you can also capture time-lapses and hyperlapses, which are essentially moving time-lapses. There's also a nod or pat recording mode, so that if you're using the headband additional accessory or hat clip, you can start recording by nodding or patting the camera. Now, the battery on both devices is internal. You can't remove it. And in terms of battery life, when using the camera itself, you can record for up to 90 minutes of runtime. However, if you attach the dock, this gets extended to up to 200 minutes. And when you do attach that Vision dock, the dock itself can charge the camera using the power stored within it. And this takes only 20 minutes to charge the camera to 80%. Pretty impressive. And this is ideal if you need to charge the camera when out on location and can't get to a power source, as you simply just attach the Vision dock, leave it in your camera bag, take a quick break, and when you come back, your camera will be fully charged. Now, when you do plug the Vision dock into a power source, this also supports fast charging, and you can charge the Vision dock up to 80% again in only 20 minutes. Now, just like with other DJI action cameras, you can pair the Osmo Nano to the DJI Mimo app, and this allows you to preview what you are recording or have captured change settings and modes, or start or stop recording remotely from your smartphone. Now, if you plan to use this camera for water-based activities, it's very handy to know the camera is waterproof up to 10 meters without an additional accessory. However, when you do pair it with the multifunctional vision dock, it's no longer waterproof. The vision dock is only splash resistant. So this will protect it against sweat or rain or minor splashes, but it's very, very important that when you're using the vision dock, you don't submerge the camera setup. Now, the Osmo Nano comes with inbuilt microphones, and this is what those sound like on a day with a moderate breeze. There's also two different levels of wind reduction, standard and high. So this is what the standard wind reduction sounds like when using them onboard mics. Now, if you want higher quality audio, or you intend to be further away from the camera, you can pair one of DJI's wireless mics to the Osmo Nano, such as the Mic 2, Mic Mini, or the latest Mic 3. And as with most DJI cameras these days, you can pair the transmitter directly to the device. You don't need to plug the receiver into the Osmo Nano. Now again, there is a light breeze, but this Mic 3 does have a windshield attached, and this should let you hear what that sounds like when it's paired to the Osmo Nano. So there you have it, the all-new DJI Osmo Nano. I'm keen to know your thoughts on this versatile little camera. Let me know in the comments down below. And again, if you want to find out more about it or pick it up, I put links in the description down below where you can do just that. Now, before you go, if you liked this video and you learned something new, please let me know by giving me the thumbs up and clicking that like button down below. And if you love all things action cameras, but also drones, gimbals, 360 cameras and more, and want to learn things like the best settings so you can get up and running quickly, and tips and tricks to help you get better looking images and more cinematic footage from your camera gear, then I recommend you check out my channel where I have a ton of other content to help you level up your game. And if you don't want to miss any of my upcoming videos, then I highly recommend you click that subscribe button down below, and when you're down there, be sure to check the notification bell so that you will be alerted when my new videos are released. It would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to stick around and watch a few more now, here's a few I personally recommend, and I'll keep you back any further. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you over there.